Somewhere right now, someone is telling you that eating meat is going to kill you. Somewhere else right now, someone is telling you that cutting it out is what'll kill you. Both of them are citing science. Both of them sound completely sure. Here's the strange part, neither one of them is technically lying. And the answer to who's actually right isn't sitting in a modern nutrition study. It's buried about 4 million years in our past. So today we're going back, all the way back, following the actual evidence, the teeth, the bones, the chemistry locked inside them, to find out what our ancestors really ate. Not what a diet book tells you what happened. Go back 4 million years and the picture looks simple. Our earliest ancestors, the ones scientists call Australopithecus, ate a lot like their cousins in the trees, fruit, leaves, whatever the forest handed them. We know this because carbon isotopes get locked into tooth enamel while it's forming, and they leave a permanent record of what an animal actually ate. And here's the honest catch, at this point there is no proof of meat eating at all. Not because we know they didn't, because the chemistry that could prove it doesn't survive 4 million years. Then there's the guy scientists nicknamed Nutcracker Man. Jaw and molars so massive, everyone assumed he was cracking hard nuts all day. Then they actually tested the chemistry. Turns out he was eating grass and sedges, grazing the savanna next to zebras and warthogs. The clue everyone trusted the most was the one that lied. Around 2.6 million years ago, something changes. The first deliberately shaped stone tools show up in a style archaeologists call Alduin, and animal bones start showing up with cut marks on them. Something out there had started using tools to get at meat. There's even a more controversial site in Ethiopia called Dikika, with cut marks dated to 3.4 million years ago, hundreds of thousands of years before any known stone tool. Some researchers think that's real evidence of even earlier tool use. Others think those marks came from something as mundane as an animal trampling the bone. It's still argued about. And around the same time, our ancestors made a trade you can still see in your own body. Two researchers, Leslie Alo and Peter Wheeler, called it the expensive tissue hypothesis back in 1995. The idea is simple. Your gut and your brain are both incredibly expensive organs to run. Our gut is smaller than you'd expect for an animal our size, and our brain is dramatically bigger. Their theory is that a richer, higher quality diet let the gut shrink, and that saved energy got redirected straight into growing a bigger brain. But it's not the clean, man the hunter story you might expect. There's actually a real scientific argument over whether these early humans were hunting large animals at all, or just scavenging carcasses that lions and hyenas had already stripped down. And it gets more humbling than that. A study published in 2025 found that early Homo habilis wasn't just competing with predators, it was prey. Leopards were eating them right back. For a huge stretch of our history, we weren't at the top of the food chain, we were somewhere in the middle of it. The next big leap needs fire. A Harvard biological anthropologist named Richard Wrangham built an entire theory around this moment. Cooked food is dramatically easier to digest, more calories in, less energy spent chewing and processing it, and that's true whether you're cooking meat or a starchy root. Right on cue, around 1.8 million years ago, cranial capacity jumps by something like 40%, teeth and jaws shrink, and a new kind of human shows up. Homo erectus, taller, more efficient, built for a cooked food world. Here's the twist nobody likes to talk about. Our bodies say cooking should have started 1.8 million years ago. But the earliest hints of fire, ash, and burnt bone in a cave in South Africa called Wonderwork only go back about 1 million years, and even that's disputed since fire can occur naturally in a cave. Proof of everyday, habitual fire, actual hearths people used every single day, doesn't show up until a site called Kesem Cave in Israel, dated to around 400,000 years ago. That's a gap of well over 1 million years. The biology tells one story, the dirt tells another. Nobody has closed that gap. Even Neanderthals, our closest relatives, couldn't agree on one diet. In cold, mammoth steppe Europe, their bone chemistry looks almost like a wolf's or a hyena's, overwhelmingly meat, plants making up maybe a fifth of their diet at most. But at a site called El Cedron in Spain, scientists studied the actual dental plaque, the hardened tartar on Neanderthal teeth, and found cooked starches, mushrooms, pine nuts. One individual even had traces of yarrow and chamomile in his teeth, plants with no nutritional value at all, but a long history of medicinal use. It looks like self-medication. Same species, two completely different diets, thousands of miles apart. And when it was finally our turn, Homo sapiens, we didn't pick a side either. We show an even wider isotopic range than the Neanderthals did, and one behavior really sets us apart. We started systematically exploiting rivers, coastlines, and shorelines. Fish, shellfish, things Neanderthals barely touched. While also gathering wild sorghum, wild grains, and tubers across Africa. More tools, more places, more things counted as food. So if our own biology never settled on one answer, when did humans start insisting there's only one right way to eat? 12,000 years ago, we invented farming. The evolutionary biologist Jared Diamond once called it, only half-jokingly, the worst mistake in the history of the human race, and the skeletons back him up more than you'd expect. Early farmers in some regions were, on average, 11 centimeters shorter than the hunter-gatherers who came before them. And their bones show more anemia, more infection, more malnutrition. More grain, less variety, worse health written directly into the skeleton. But farming also did something hunting and gathering never could. It fed a lot more people. Shorter and more numerous, or taller and fewer, which one counts as progress depends entirely on who you ask. Today, that same argument still runs on a chart you've probably seen online, comparing human teeth and gut length to carnivores and herbivores. It's usually credited to a physician named Milton Mills, and it gets used to argue humans are natural herbivores. Here's a detail almost nobody catches. There's a completely different researcher named Catharine Milton, a primatologist at Berkeley who spent her career actually studying primate and hominin nutrition. People confuse the two constantly. And when real anatomists examine actual tooth enamel and gut structure, the honest answer is that our teeth and gut are genuinely intermediate. Not clean proof of either side, both popular versions of that chart oversimplify the same evidence. Meanwhile, we're still evolving around food, right now in real time. Populations with a long history of starchy, farmed diets carry extra copies of a gene called AMY1, which helps break down starch in your saliva before it even reaches your stomach. And the ability to digest milk as an adult is even stranger. For most of human history, that ability shut off after childhood. It only spread widely among some dairy farming populations a few thousand years ago, and a recent study suggests it wasn't really about getting extra calories. It was about survival during famine and disease outbreaks, when milk was one of the few safe things left to drink. Today, that trait is still only common in about a third of people on Earth. And look at us today. Traditional Inuit communities ate a diet that was almost entirely meat and fat, virtually no plants at all. It was so extreme that in the 1920s, an Arctic explorer named Vilhjalmur Stefansson, who'd lived with them, moved to New York and ate nothing but meat for an entire year under medical observation, just to prove it could be done. He was fine. Meanwhile, the Hadza in Tanzania get most of their calories from tubers, berries, and honey. Completely different diets on opposite ends of the spectrum, both working. That's the single strongest piece of evidence we have. We were never built for one menu, we were built to adapt to whatever menu we found. So are we meat eaters or are we vegans? The honest answer the evidence gives you is, neither. We're generalists. Built by 4 million years of taking whatever opportunity showed up. Not by one single moral or nutritional destiny. Which means the question was never really, what did evolution intend for you to eat? It's a completely different question, one evolution left entirely up to you. So meat, plants, or both? The evidence left the door open. What do you choose and why?